Hey everybody, how are you? Dr. Stephanie Stroud here with Cornerstone's Pet Tip of the Week. So wanted to address one of the things I hear all the time is you get your dog or cat spayed, or you get them neutered, and then all of a sudden they gain all this weight. And so I hear all the time from people that spaying and neutering makes animals fat. So wanted to address that today. So one, is it true? The answer to that's a bit tricky. So yes, your pets can get heavier after you spay and neuter them, but the question behind that is why. And so we're going to think about this very simply, okay? So we each have a body. There's organ systems, there's kidney, there's the liver, there's the heart, there's the intestines, there's everything. There's the reproductive system. So each of these systems in our body actually takes energy, and that's calories is how we get that. And so by spaying and neutering, what we're actually doing is we're removing one of those systems. And so it's not uncommon for dogs and cats, once you spay or neuter them, to gain weight. The reason you're doing that is because oftentimes we don't adjust the amount of calories they're eating. And so when we spay or neuter, we're removing the reproductive system. If we don't have the reproductive system in the body, we don't need the extra calories to maintain it. So how do we avoid your puppy or your kitty cat getting overweight, okay, from when they were a kitten? So when they're a kitten, they're growing. They need the extra calories to get their bones, to grow all their systems, to get to the appropriate weight. Okay, that's perfect. And so we are eating a specifically formulated kitten or puppy food in order to get them those appropriate nutrients. As we mature, we should be switching over to an adult food. Most of the time, it depends on each individual patient and the species. Most of the time, we are actually converting them over between about 6 and 9 months of age is when I typically recommend transitioning from kitten and puppy food to adult foods. Okay, now that is the first step, is making sure that we're not feeding too many calories with puppy and kitten food. Make sure we transition at the right time. The second step is once they get spayed, you need to make sure you adjust your caloric intake that you are giving them. So I do not recommend free feeding pets, because if they're anything like the rest of us, they will overeat and they will become overweight quickly. And it is much harder to get weight off of pets than it is to put them on them. Okay? And so first thing you need to do is avoid free feeding. Okay. Second step is to measure their food out. If we're avoiding free feeding, then we are actually measuring a specific amount. And that doesn't mean that we're taking the coffee tin and we're getting 2 scoops. Okay. That's not measuring it out. That's just making an easy container. I want you to get an 8-ounce cup and actually measure the specific cup and ounces that you are feeding your pet. Okay. Here's where I'm going to help you with the spaying and neutering aspect. So once your pet is spayed or neutered, they no longer have their reproductive system. They don't need the extra calories to maintain it. So what do I recommend feeding them? How do we adjust for that? And so my recommendation is once your pet is spayed or neutered, you're going to look at the back of the bag for the amount to feed them. So if you're in the 10-pound range, the 20-pound, 30-pound, whatever the healthy weight is for your pet, as noted by your primary veterinarian, you're going to look at that, and then you're going to feed 3/4 of what the bag recommends. Because the food companies are required to actually put the caloric intake necessary for intact animals, meaning those animals that have their reproductive system. And so if we feed them what's on the bag, they're going to get too many calories, because spayed and neutered animals don't have their reproductive system. So you have to adjust. So my recommendation is to feed 3/4 of whatever their bag recommends on the low end of the range. Okay. The other thing you have to consider is what treats are you feeding them? Remember, treats should be no more than 10% of the diet. I know it's not exactly fun, but I actually just recommend using their kibbles for their treats. And so I recommend taking some of the daily calories that they're supposed to get from their primary food. You put it in a Ziploc baggie or whatever fun baggie you want, and you give them 1 or 2 of their kibbles as food. Okay, that helps to prevent digestive upset. Okay, it also helps to maintain their weight appropriately and make sure that we are not giving them too many calories. And it's also, if you want to be honest, a lot less expensive. It's fun to give treats, it's fun to get those different things, but treats can be expensive and they can sometimes have hazardous effects on your pets, and that's what we want to avoid. And so, is the myth about spaying and neutering making your pets fat true? No, not really. What is true is that we often don't adjust the amount of calories they need. That's not often communicated. So, when your cat or your dog is spayed or neutered, make sure you are adjusting the calories to what they actually need based on their body, okay? So that is the way to avoid them giving overweight. We have a whole series on obesity and what it can cause in our pets. If you want to watch that, you can go back and watch some of our previous videos. You can find them here on our Facebook page. An easier way may be to go to our YouTube channel, because they're all under our channel, obviously, and they're labeled for the different parts there. Or you can find them on our website at www.cornerstonevet.info. Go to the About section, go to the video section, and then go to Pet Tips. So obesity is a real problem in our pets. We're trying to avoid it. So that is the way we avoid it from the get-go, is let's keep our puppies and kittens healthy and have them at a healthy weight throughout their young life so we can maintain it as they get older. So that's it for tonight. I will chat with you guys next week. See you later.